Morning Falcons. I just want to kind of show you guys some tips and tricks to hopefully make your life a little bit easier. So I'm going to jump to, let's pretend this is my advocacy. I know it's not, but we're going to pretend. Let's pretend I want to do a grade check in advocacy. And so I want to be able to check each of my kids' grades really quick. And instead of having to click on the student, then click on student view, then click on grades and go through that whole deal and wait for it all to load, I like for it to go a little bit quicker. Save me 10 or 15 seconds every time because it adds up. If you go up here to Gradebook, hover over Gradebook, drop down to Emailable Progress Report, click on that. It's automatically going to select the first student by alphabet in your class. The only other thing that you really need to do is make sure this says class summary. If it says by section, it'll only give your section grade for your class. If you do by standard, then it's just going to give whatever standards referenced or standards base grading stuff has already been inputted, and in most classes we're not going to have that right now, so that's not even going to give you anything. You want to make sure you select class summary. This is going to give you all the grades for all the classes right here in just a minute where it says no data has been generated. Okay. I normally just leave these 4 alone that are checked. You can add additional stuff if you want and goof around with that, but this is really all we need. You're going to drop down here to generate all and click that, and it's going to take a minute. You're going to have to click OK, and this is really going to be okay. It's kind of a scary looking warning, but basically it's just telling you anything that you've already generated for a progress report is about to be sort of deleted and refreshed. So if I make this last Monday, and then I come in the next Monday that I want to have fresh grade data pulled so I can see my kids' grades as of today, then it's going to ask me, hey, do you sure you want to delete whatever's been here before? And the answer is yes. I want to see the fresh grades. I want to see fresh information. I want, fresh data up to the minute. So now it just takes a second. It pops up with my little report, and it gives me a time, date and time when I generated this data. And what's awesome is now I can see this student's grades. I can see them all. Then I can select a different student and say, I'd like to see what her grades are. Bada bing, bada boom. No problem. All right, I'm going to call another student. Hey, I need to talk to you about your grades. And so I can really quickly move through them. The only issue that I have with this, or the only thing that's going to be kind of an issue, which we've always had this, is that their Learning Center classes are not going to pop up here. And so eventually once we start running the DNF list, that will be another place you'll have to kind of look or click over to or ask them about. But in general, I think this is going to save you some time for 90% of your students because it's just super quick to jump back and forth between students' grades, and it's 1 click or 2 clicks instead of 3 or 4 and having to wait every time. It's very quick. And you can add, like if a student's missing assignments, I don't know anybody in particular who's missing any. Let me see if I can pick on somebody. I don't really know. So see, like right here, it says 1 missing assignment. That means the teacher's notified it as missing or mentioned that it's missing. And so it's really quick and easy for me to sort of look around and say, okay, I see that so-and-so's done this, so-and-so's done that, whatever, and kind of go from there. And you can add, like I said, more options and more data. You can do some more of that. Another quick tip while we're here on Synergy. If you've had issues taking attendance with teams because your team meeting lists them by first name, last name, and your Synergy attendance is listed by last name, what you can do, and shout out to Jeff Mullen, he mentioned this to me the other day, so shout out to him. I'll shout him out for this tip. And I've known this before, but just hadn't even thought about doing it. You can come over here. I guess I'll show you what I did there. This little orange edit button where it says alpha last first. You just click that, and over here you can change it from last first to first last. You can change it to just first name only. You can do a lot of different stuff. And what's even cooler is you can change it to nickname. I'm going to click save. And what's cool is now they're in by first name, last name, and it includes their nickname. And I have several of my kids that are going by different nicknames, whether they're trans or whether they just prefer to have a different name that they prefer to be called. And so it's really handy that instead of literally the other day, I looked for 4 or 5 minutes trying to figure out where the student was, and I had to remember that she uses a different first and last name. And so she wasn't showing up in my grade book at all under the name that I was anticipating her showing up under. So anyway, and then if it doesn't automatically switch it back into alphabetical order, you can click edit again and come over here and click fill alpha, and then it will fill alpha again by their first name. And so you can't just say, the nickname format and then it'll all alphabetize them. You do have to go down and make this separate click and say click alpha in order for them to now be in alphabetical order by first name. And then you can click save, or if you just want to have a copy of this separately or whatever, it's up to you. You can always change it back if you like. Okay. And what's even cooler is that doesn't change your gradebook setup. So it's still, my gradebook is still going to go by last first. And most of my stuff, if you go to look at teams, when you go to grade assignments, it's also still last first. I don't know why that is, why it's first last for attendance, but it's last first for assignments. But either way, that's a little trick to make teams and Synergy at least look the same or be the same for taking attendance and stuff. Okay, I'm going to jump over to teams now. I got a couple teams tricks and tips for you. Let's say that you're in your advocacy. I'm going to jump to mine. Let's say I'm in advocacy, talking to all my kids, and I need to do some grade checks. What I can do is I can tell everybody, okay, stay here in the main meeting unless I call you, unless you get a notification to join another meeting. I can jump up here and click Meet Now and jump into a second meeting. And what I can do is, and it's not going to let me turn on my camera because I'm recording video, but I can join now. Just takes a second, I know. So I can join this meeting. Yes, I know you can't use my webcam, it's fine. What I can do is join this meeting, and then right here, I can bring up my participants, and then I can type in one kid's name and bring them into this meeting, and then we can talk. I can do my grade check with them. It's totally private. I'm not sharing any confidential information. All my, I'm following all my legal stuff that I need to. But that way I can have a quick conversation with that kid, and then I can say, all right, just hit the leave button. Or I can go down here, and it's not going to let me because she's not actually in this call, but I can click the little 3 buttons and I can kick them out if I need to, and then I can call the next person and bring them in. It's super quick, super easy. If I have small groups that I want to talk to versus using breakouts because breakout rooms are still working along, this is just a quick little way that you can jump to a separate meeting. Everybody else is still chilling out. You kind of know where they're at, but you can jump over to the second meeting and go from there. Super handy. Just make sure you end the meeting when you're done. I always do that. Just make sure you end the meeting. Don't leave. You have to make sure you end the meeting. So that's a little handy tip. What else? Okay, assignments. Excuse me. If you go to click on assignments here at the top, and I don't have any in advocacy, apparently. I'm putting on my advocacy stuff in my class notebook. That's why. If I go to my 5th hour and go to assignments, you'll see there's 3 little dots over here in the top right. These 3 little dots are new. I made a video about it a couple weeks ago when they first came out, but a lot of people haven't seen this stuff yet. If you click on the 3 little dots, it'll bring up this thing that says assignments settings. And so what's cool about these assignment settings is you can change several defaults that are automatically checked or selected when you go to make a new assignment. So for example, the set default due date time for future assignments, I have it left on 11:59. That's what it is automatically. If you want to change it to 8 p.m. or 2 p.m. or whatever your preferred methodology is, if you have a preferred time or something that you want it done, you can do that. New students will receive assignments created before they join the class. I'm leaving this toggled to yes, and I'll show you why here in just a second. And then again, you can say post future assignment notifications in this channel in general. If you like having a different channel for assignments only, and that's the way you want to run things, you can change that here, and you can set it to automatically go there, so it's not something you have to click. And then right here, fun stuff, you can turn on or off celebrations. I don't know why you turn them off. I love the little, when the kids turn something in, there's little, sparkles and fireworks or a bear or ice cream or all kinds of weird stuff that pops up. So I think it's cute. I'm leaving it. It's a little bonus for the kids. So these 3 things right here, if you go to create an assignment, I'm going to click back. If I had to create an assignment right now, a couple things. Down here at the bottom where it said, hey, what channel do you want it assigned to? Right now it's assigned to default general. Now I can click here, edit, and change it. But again, if you kind of pick a default, that's one less thing you have to click every time you make an assignment. If you know where you want it to go and you set it to go there every time, that's one less thing you have to click. Same thing here with due dates. If you have the time already set where you want it to be, then you just have to click on the day and it has a little calendar, super quick to pop up and use. But this little thing right here, assign to all students added to this class in the future, it used to be, I'm going to click on edit there, it used to be defaulted to don't assign to all students added to this class in the future. And what they've allowed you to do is they've allowed you to basically set this, you can go back to the little setting I showed you a second ago in assignment settings, and you can select basically which default you want it to be set to. I want it set to this one because I keep all my stuff in separate weeks, and I keep it tagged by separate weeks and stuff. So for me, in my class, it doesn't matter. A kid who comes in the last week of school, they may get all the assignments, but I'm going to tell them just ignore those weeks and just work on week 9 or whatever. And so for me, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to leave a check like this. For you, you might want to go back and forth depending on different situations, and that's fine. You might want to have to change it every time. That's fine. But for me, it's just one less thing to click on. If I always want it to be this, it's one less thing to click on if I just have it set to globally do that. Now, you have to do this for each course. Right now, when I go here to assignment settings and click here and click this is only for my sociology class 5th hour. Okay, so you'll have to do this for all your other classes. But again, clicking 3 times to set it here versus having to click it every time you make a new assignment, it's a lot of time saved there. And then one other little tip I wanted to show you, and I think you guys are probably all figuring this out, but I just want to kind of take a look at it. So if I go to grade an assignment like this one, what I've figured out is if I have my gradebook open to whatever the hour is, I guess I already did, so I don't know why I clicked that, but if I have my gradebook open and I haven't created this assignment yet, I'm just getting ready to grade this today, but if I have my assignment open here and I'm getting ready to grade this, what I can do is if I just have like 2 apps open, Teams and Synergy in a browser window, what I've figured out is if it's just easier for me to toggle back and forth on the same screen. I tried using 2 screens for this, and it was actually more trouble than it was worth, I found. What I can do is I can view this assignment, read through it, grade it, I can enter my feedback, awesome, you perfectly summarize everything, 25 out of 25. And then what I can do is I can drop back to here, put in his 25 points, and then if I want to save every so often, I can save every 4 or 5 kids, and I usually do just in case. And then I just toggle back to Teams. And the great part is I can just click here to go to the next one, and I'm on to the next one. Super quick. Now, some of you are like, well, hey, dude, I don't keep all my stuff in assignments. A lot of times I just have class notebook like homework or little things like that. Well, you can do the same thing with class notebook. If you go to your class notebook, and I always click the little expand tab because it gives me more room to operate here. If you click on class notebook, and then you click on review student work, then you can do the same thing here. I don't have an active notebook page, sorry. Let's look at something from this week. So let's say that I want to review all these assignments for one kid, or for all my kids. If I open up this particular page and then click review student work, then it's going to let me select whichever page I want. In this case, like I said, it's this poverty line budgeting activity thing that we did. Next. And then what's cool is I can go right from person to person. So right now I'm seeing this students, and then I can go to the next students, and I can go to the next one. And again, it has some options here where I can first name, last name. If I want to lock a page, I can page lock their page. And so it's pretty quick to just run through. And especially if it's just kind of a check off, hey, did they finish their notes? Did they do something? Especially for like participation points or a completion assignment, something like that. Just to check up on their notes, whatever. Super, super quick to do, super easy to do. And it really just works on pages that you've distributed. But you can, if you've had all the students title something the same, I think it might work for that, but really it works better if you distribute the page. So anyway, hopefully there's a few tips in there that help you out. I appreciate everything you guys are doing. We're all doing the best that we can under the circumstances, and so I appreciate your help and your attention. Have a great day.